watch it. I want to see the new Robert Muldoon analog horror Jurassic Park fan animation we're about to watch right now. Let's go watch this stuff. Analog horror, Jurassic Park, Robert Muldoon. Let's check this shit out. Tape 6. Jurassic Park.
Have you had a chance to watch the footage, Jerry?
Yeah, I did, Muldoon.
What do you think? Have you seen anything like this before?
Not with the Dilos, no. What exactly did the foreman say to you he saw?
He said it spat at Manuel.
And Manuel was on the retaining wall?
Yes, we're talking some 50 feet up, Jerry.
That shit,
Wow.
Man.
He said it spat something, hitting Manuel in the face. The man begins screaming, complaining he can't see. He said he stumbled blindly towards the barrier and fell over the wall into the enclosure.
Yikes, that's crazy.
He survives the fall, tries to stand, starts shaking, and then the foreman described him as not moving. I sounded the horns. You know more than anyone how the Dilos are pretty responsive to the horns. And Arnold told me all of them are in the holding pen now.
Where are they taking Manuel?
Probably Bahia and Nasco.
Okay. Where are you now?
I'm heading to the holding pen to see what I can find out, Jerry.
Yo, like he said it like that, bro. Like Bahia Asco. That's all from the novels. That's all from the novels of Jurassic Park. That's some shit. Look at that. Look at the detail.
To the rear of the river cruise is the
Look at all the
Dilophasaurus
detail
holding
this guy
pen.
had.
This pen is used to
Time
round the
taking
animal.
this shit, man.
Jerry Harding accidentally discovered that the Dilos are particularly responsive to the sound of horns. So horn recordings are blasted from speakers around the Dilo paddock that help herd the animals into this holding pen. The pen is deliberately maintained several degrees cooler and at a lower light level than the surrounding paddocks because the Dilophosaurs carry a known genetic skin disorder, which leaves their skin unusually susceptible to ultraviolet exposure. Prolonged sunlight results in rapid sunburn, blistering, and possible secondary infection. For that reason, shade is paramount in their enclosure. You'll notice that within their enclosure is dense canopy cover. Artificial and controlled lighting cycles limiting UV exposure. The cooler, darker environment keeps the animals calmer, reduces pacing, and prevents visible skin damage. It's quite a small area, and there are 7 animals in here. The Dilophosaurs are painfully shy dinosaurs. InGen made 2 batches of them, and Henry Wu was quick to jump on the idea of having the most up-to-date recreation, and began work on sequencing the genome of Dilophosaurus sinensis, the newer of the Dilo species, fossils of which having been excavated as recently as the 80s. This species is smaller, and there's 4 of them in here. Hammond saw the 4 adults Henry had recreated and wasn't too impressed. He insisted Henry genetically engineer the Dilophosaurus weatherilli, the larger of the 2. 3 of them were cloned, and both species live in this same enclosure here at Jurassic Park without issue. I want to show both species if possible. Both are...
That is some shit. That is some good explanation for the 2 Dilophosauruses, man. That he get like this guy actually had the dedication to write and make a good scripture and like an animal sanctuary, like Robert Muldoon would do or Jurassic Park. That's some shit right there, bro. He actually this guy actually went out there and actually described in a whole dialogue. That is some dedication and planning. That is some dedication and craftsmanship on writing on this sort of video. That is you explain about like an animal, like an actual animal, like if there were actual animals in a zoo, and talking about referring with John Hammond and Henry Wu making the 2 Dilophosauruses. And if you don't know what they're talking about, so when he talk about the larger of the 2 Dilophosauruses, the smaller ones, well, we know it's a juvenile, and the larger one was the adult, but that was in the novel that killed Dennis Nedry in the most graphic ways possible. And he expressed that so good, man.
Nocturnal, so it's very likely that they are sleeping at the moment. Here we go. This is Dilophasaur, the smaller species. These guys are less prone to the sunburn skin issue, yet I have witnessed peeling between the crests if they're out of the shade for prolonged periods of time. These guys grow to about 4 foot tall and are mostly timid, yet they start to become curious about you pretty quickly if you hang about them for a bit.
No.
However,
not
they
like
tend
that.
to be pretty quiet
Not
most
like
of the
that.
time. Sorry, girl. Back to sleep.
Become curious because they want you as food. Remember what our boy Dennis mentioned it? Remember our boy Dennis mentioned it? Always find it adorable. That kind of cooing sound.
Hear that? If you didn't know there were Dilophosaurs here, you'd be forgiven in thinking that what you're hearing is the hooting of an owl. But it's no owl. That's the call of Dilophosaurus weatherilli. They actually creep me out. Like I said, they're the larger of the two species, but they're actually quite attentive to people. I would say the closest thing to them would probably be Australia's cassowary. But they are quite remarkable animals. They tend to deeply focus on their handlers and study them closely. And they have what I believe to be a very haunting characteristic. And I want to document such. She's right there. If I can just get her to step out.
Like, look at it's right there. Like the way it hides. See the whole scripture? It's like it's the whole scripture of things. Look at that.
Shit! And this is why they creep me out. See this behavioral display? They seem to size up their opponent in an attempt to intimidate equally sized threats. As you can see, this girl is quite a bit larger than the sinensis species, the green ones. She stands at about 8 foot tall, which already gives a cassowary a run for its money. But this display would make anyone fear for their lives. The first time I encountered this animal was on orientation to the park, and it was nighttime. This thing nearly made me fire an entire round into my pants with that creepy sway and hooting it does. But it's absolutely a beautiful animal with that.
Well, shit. I mean, I guess when anybody read that novel, and if only Steven Spielberg ever brought that Dilophosaurus out in the original Jurassic Park, I bet you 100%, man. I felt the same. Understood the same way too when I found out that the Dilophosaurus on Jurassic Park was absolutely not accurate at all with the real size it was. It's as if they switched the sides of the Velociraptor and the Dilopho. When I realized that the real Dilophosaurus that I saw at the Museum of Natural History in New York, an actual skeleton of it, I was freaked out realizing they were much bigger, and then only to realize about the book of Jurassic Park, it was that same size, 10 feet tall. That is scary too, bro. That shit is scary as hell, yo.
Jaguar-like hide and those red crests atop its head. That's a chopper coming to collect Manuel from the Dilo enclosure. I'm waiting for them to airlift him out, and then I want to enter while these girls are still in here. But by the looks of it, it'll be evening before Regis makes the call to allow any of us to re-enter the enclosure. He's the park's PR person, And what that means here is he needs to make sure any accident is promptly contained and no one asks questions. I'm now in the Dilophasaur enclosure proper. This habitat is currently part of two major rides at the park, the electric vehicle tour and the jungle river cruise. The back end of this paddock leads up to the retaining wall that poor Manuel fell off. I've become so curious to see something that I thought I saw when I first peered down off the wall, and then later thought I spotted in the footage. Here's the
Again, like this guy put so much attention to detail on this place. Everywhere, the whole park, the whole area on just with the software. One guy did this. The uses of the camera, the whole holding of the camera, yo, and going dark as well. I mean, yo, what the fuck is going on, yo? This guy is dedicated. This is some top notch, man. Top notch fan animation.
retaining wall. And here's where Manuel landed. The poor soul's helmet is still in the water, and this is the interesting part that I wanted to take note of. This black substance pooling around the helmet. Let me take a closer look. On the water here, I don't like thick, black, almost tar-like. Not natural runoff, not oil. It's viscous. It doesn't smell like anything I recognize.
Are you sure it isn't decomposed plant matter or resin? That enclosure's humid, plenty of biological breakdown. Don't touch your face, whatever you do. Does it feel warm? Any reaction on your skin?
Negative on the heat. It's cold, actually. But it's not sap. Sap doesn't coat like this. It's not like honey.
Dilophosaurs aren't known to excrete anything like that. Are there injuries on the dilos? Any signs of illness?
That's the troubling part. I checked them after we herded them into the holding pen. Clean, alert, no visible trauma, no lethargy. Yet this substance is on some of the railings atop the wall Manuel fell from. I can easily understand slipping on something like this.
You're implying some kind of defensive secretion, Muldoon.
I'm moving in deeper, Jerry. I'll sweep the perimeter first, then work inward. If there's more of that substance, it won't all be on bare rock.
Proceed slowly. Dense vegetation traps residue. Anything expelled with force will settle low once gravity takes over. Watch for patterns, not just accumulation. Smears and streaks, pooling at the base of stems. That's where behavior leaves its fingerprints.
Water's cloudy here. Silt and organic matter, but nothing stands out yet. No sheen on the surface, no discoloration. If this were waste runoff, I'd expect a gradient. There's nothing consistent.
That's why the lower vegetation matters, Robert. Fecal waste follows predictable patterns. It breaks down quickly in water, disperses evenly, clings loosely to plant matter. You'd see diffuse staining, microbial bloom, a smell, ammonia, sulfur compounds. It certainly wouldn't appear elevated unless carried by flood surge, and the jungle river hasn't flooded to that scale.
So if it's concentrated under the brush...
Then it suggests deposition, not runoff.
I'm checking the bases now. Nothing, just rot, mud, and insect life. Normal decay. If this substance was here recently, it's not widespread. Whatever happened, it happened in a narrow corridor.
That narrows the event window. It means the worker didn't stumble into a contaminated area by chance. He intersected it. And if there's no residue beneath the vegetation elsewhere, then this isn't a chronic biological byproduct. It's episodic.
I don't like episodic animals, Jerry. Especially ones we think we understand.
Man, Dilophosaurus was 100% episodic. That Dilophosaurus from the first movie to the latest one is always episodic. That is why in the arcades of Jurassic Park, the Lost World, the arcade game that we play, we know for a hand. If that frills up, I better drop them all in once.
Coming up empty so far, no pooled residue in the low spots. Either it was cleaned by the rain or it was never meant to linger.
Or it was precise, used once.
Mark my words, Jerry, there's more to the Dilos than we know. I've reached drier ground now, no standing water. If that black substance was carried by runoff, it should thin out here.
We'd need to examine the cellular architecture under light microscopy. If it's fecal in origin, you'll see fragmented plant cells, microbial colonies. If it's secreted tissue, you'll find organized structures, glandular cells, protein matrices.
So you're looking for intent again, design versus waste.
Precisely. If it's a bodily secretion or there's an enzymatic agent involved, histology will show proteins, crystallized enzymes, or storage vesicles.
Let me run something by you, Jerry.
Sure.
Is it possible that this substance is a kind of venom?
Oh.
Picture it like this.
There we
that
go.
substance
Finally.
behaving like a hunting aid. If it can be expelled accurately, it explains the splatter height and why a man lost his footing so fast. A blinding or incapacitating agent meant to immobilize a prey item without a prolonged struggle.
Venom as a projectile.
Yes, spitting cobra style.
That would require specialized anatomy, not something that appears accidentally. Fossil records never suggested it, but I will admit our animals are already diverged from expectation.
We sedate one and conduct exploratory surgery, check the maxilla, the jawline, the neck. If there are glands, ducts, anything resembling a storage structure, people are getting hurt because we're assuming limits that may not exist.
Muldoon, you know John would kick up a stink about putting one under the knife for the sake of exploration.
True, but let's say he's on board and we confirm anything even close to the idea of these animals being venomous. Containment protocols must change immediately. The river cruise cannot stay as it is. Open boats filled with people. If these animals can project something outward, distance and shielding become mandatory. Shit!
You all right, Muldoon?
Yeah, Jerry. Compies.
The cleanup crew are there.
They're feeding on something, Jerry. Looks like hatchling birds. And Jerry, there's that same black substance.
Small prey wouldn't require physical restraint. This aligns far more with envenomation than blunt force predation.
If the Dilophosaurs did this, they didn't need to chase or climb. They let this substance do the work.
Venom used on prey implies a deliberate targeting behavior. Enough to kill birds, possibly enough to paralyze a man.
That means we're done pretending this is theoretical. Birds today, workers tomorrow, guests after that if we're careless. This confirms it for me. These animals are hunting, with more than teeth and claws, and the park is not designed for predators that hunt from a distance.
And watch yourself around the compies. Don't let them nip you.
What does it really take to stop a motivated, violent criminal dead in his tracks?
They say don't let the compies run after you, then don't let them nip you. There's two compies. They even let the compies running free in the park, yo. They let isn't it also said in the book, in the Michael Crichton's book, that the compies are also, these compies are also venomous too. When it says in the novel, if you read the fucking novel, I never read the novel, but in the novel, apparently John Hammond, that over there is, Francesca say, the villain, met his end by being bitten by the compies who happen to have venom. We all and yet because it's been said too that in the book most dinosaurs are straight up like science experiments. They're not really dinosaurs at all. They're spliced with other DNA. They're spliced with reptile DNA, amphibian DNA as well, even though they're birds, which we can do too nowadays. We can actually mix a bird and a reptile, and boom, you have a dinosaur, basically. But you can add more lizard DNA to that. So that's why, in the book, in the movie, that's what it became to be. You're not going to build that like a huge, dino, like they said in the franchise, but
One of 7 lookout points along the length of the Jungle River throughout the park. This one peers into the Dilophosaur enclosure specifically. but the others look out onto Sauropod Swamp to see the apatosaurs and hadrosaurs, etc., with the river eventually winding through the aviary. Still far from completion, but the general idea is guests can join the river cruise at any one of these 7 entry points, board a raft, and sail past several enclosures to get that up-close and personal experience that Hammond wants for all his guests. There's still a boarding ramp and jetty and things to add here, with the date of completion being somewhere before the end of next year. Yet, regarding the Dilos specifically, Hammond definitely won't be thrilled about the idea of having large segments of this ride change so drastically. He's always said that he doesn't want his guests to feel like they are watching animals in a zoo. Getting them close to the animals is something he won't budge on. He always says everyone in the world has a right to enjoy these animals. Enjoy being the key word, not just view them, but enjoy them. But with safety in mind, either some sort of glass barricade needs to be erected alongside the electric fences to prevent the Dilophosaurs from shooting guests in the face with what is potentially venom. Or the rafts used on the Jungle River ride need to be enclosed. Both options call for divorcing the park visitor from the attraction. And if I know Hammond, which I do very well, he won't want to explore either option. I've got some movement in there. One of the Dilos might be taking a swim, which is rare. They can swim, but all the workers here have never spotted one actually crossing water. So this might be a first. No way.
Yeah. Of course, it will be a velociraptor in the. It will be a velociraptor, man. Robert Muldoon, I know you hated it. They're clever girls. They be clever girls, bro. They clever girls. Now this guy had made, like, on God, bro. This guy had made genuine, like, animations on this. This takes months. Like, I want to see the last video he made on this stuff. He made, okay, what was the last video he made? Okay, weeks ago. Or this guy made weeks ago, months ago, Sauropod Innocent, Analog Horror, many analog horrors. Analog horror is quite interesting, you know, but like there's the 2D version of analog horror and then there's the 3D version of analog horror, right? Like there's usually the creepiest ones are like the ones that are like with photos and security cameras, but like 2D security cameras. That's one. But this one is the 3D one. The one is like this. Then this guy puts a lot of information, a lot of effort in this guy. Ali Awada. Look at Ali Awada. Follow this dude. This dude puts work to it. 172K subscribers. See, that's the success I wanted to see on that. That's just the kind of success I want to see. That kind of shit, man. Honestly, man. Like, this is something that this guy has done many things, especially on the Lost World, Sorna, Isla Sorna. He's doing Isla Sorna as well 2 years ago. Oh my god! But it was probably the best thing, one of the most well-made animation out there. Like, even though, and as well too, not to mention the fact that he also made Muldoon appreciate the velociraptors. They're clever girls. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, always a velociraptor, because he hated velociraptors. He hated velociraptors with a passion, bro. But I think right now, we made it. We passed. Wow, it's about to be 10 soon. But we passed it, man. We made it. I did my drawings, all that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like to subscribe. I'm Element Reptile. Y'all blessed. BB.